don't be afraid of doing it, because I was never into tech stack. I was neither into tech and I was one of the last ones at my school to have a computer, I remember.
From Hotel Tech Report, it's Hotel Tech Insider, a show about the future of hotels and the technology that powers them.
Today we're talking with Tini Diekmann, the hotel director at Hotel Oderberger, a 70-key boutique hotel in Berlin. In this episode, Tini walks us through the Tini tech stack. We cover foundational software like the PMS, as well as some interesting and valuable add-ons. You won't want to miss this one, so let's dive in. Well, thank you so much, Tini, for being on the podcast today. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you. And to get things started, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your hotel.
Yeah, thank you, Adrienne. I'm very happy to be on the podcast today. I'm the hotel director of Hotel Oderberger, which is a boutique hotel with 70 rooms in the heart of Berlin, Prenzlauer Berg, a quite trendy district. And actually, the hotel is just part of a company which basically consists of a language school and 3 hotels. So Hotel Oderberger is here in Berlin. We have another small property on the East Coast in Usedom. It's called Villa Bleichröder. And then we have the language school, which has another 48 studio apartments. I'm responsible for the part of the hotel. I'm basically the hotel director, also director of sales, revenue, distribution, so everything that has to do with the rooms section. I'm not responsible for the F&B part. I have colleagues who are doing this, but I have enough work with all the fields. And I'm always open to new things. I think we get more in detail into that later on, I think. But our tech stack changed a lot in Corona. So we did the PMS change in the middle of the thunderstorm of Corona 5 years ago. That was in 2020. And then after changing the PMS, we added a lot of more tech tools. And I'm happy to talk about this. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right into it. I understand that you have a signature tech stack, and I would love for you to walk me through the vendors you use and also why you chose them.
Yeah, actually, the name came up. I thought this so funny because it goes well with my name. So it's the Tini tech stack, we call it. And I can just say that I chose those tools. So they're my particular opinion. Doesn't mean they're the best on the market. They're just the best on the market for me. So I think the tech stack you choose is very personal, because for every area, there's so many options, like at least 5 options for each area that you could choose. So I think nowadays the tech stack became really personal because it's really my signature. So I chose this, and that's exactly what I would recommend for anybody having, of course, a hotel of my size. I wouldn't recommend this maybe to a hotel with 500 rooms. They have other needs and concerns. But like for a boutique hotel in a city, I would really recommend this. But of course, there are other options. Well, the first thing to start with, so that's really like the base, is of course the PMS. It's the heart of the tech stack. And when I started in this hotel 10 years ago, we had the self-built PMS, which was from the language school. It had all the language data, the students, the teachers, and all this. And then we added this hotel with 70 rooms. And of course, the system got slower and slower and slower. And then it didn't work anymore at all. So it was like really, really old-fashioned and no online payment. And I can't even imagine how we worked with this 5 years ago. But then, fortunately, we decided to change the PMS, and we did a big selection. We had different vendors here in-house, and we decided for Muse 5 years ago. So nowadays, they're really popular, and they're always voted on your site for best PMS. I think now, 2-3 years in a row. So they're really, really famous. But 5 years ago, they were not so famous yet. But we were already really convinced that was really the best PMS for us. And I'm so happy that we chose them and did the live go or the change of the PMS really in the middle of Corona. That was really awful, because Corona itself was already awful for everybody in hospitality. You knew all the hotels were closed. You didn't know if you could keep on going, were ever going to open again, and was really hard times. And we chose to, in these different times, to also change the PMS on top. But actually it was good because the hotel was quite empty, and so happy that we did it. I think we wouldn't have survived without Muse or a cloud-based PMS, because just this way we were able to cancel reservations from anywhere, even the hotel was closed, or do payments and refunds and everything, not having to be on site. So that was really the base and the first step.
What about Muse made you choose that system? Were there features you liked?
So I would say it's a sexy tool. So it's really intuitive, it looks nice, but it doesn't only look nice, it also works really smoothly, and the workflows are just intuitive. So you can just put a person here, a new front office agent, you can put them here, and like within a day they can do check-in, check-out, invoice changes, booking products. And with an old complicated system, you would need like 2 weeks to explain to a person until they're first allowed to do the first check-in by themselves. It's really nice to use and intuitive. And the best part is that this has all the open APIs that you can add all the other tools for the tech stack, because with the old PMS that we had, of course, they didn't have any APIs, so I couldn't add anything. I heard about so cool tools that we could use, but we couldn't, because we couldn't add them. And with Muse, it's so nice that you don't pay for extra interfaces. It's just like open. And of course, what you have to know, and I think it's very important to know, that Muse doesn't know or have everything, but you need to add different tools for whatever needs you have. So Muse is a PMS, and it's a really great PMS with open APIs for different tools. But I think you cannot ask of a PMS to be already to have everything and be able to do everything. You will need to add some extra tech, but that's what I like about it.
So what have you added on top of Muse? What are some of those integrations?
So we added so many things that I divided them into themes. So the first theme is like prices and revenue, of course. So the first one, which goes without saying, but I'm saying it anyway, it's of course a channel manager. But remembering 5 years ago, before we had Muse, we didn't even have a channel manager. So I was doing the prices for all the OTAs and the website for every day of 365 days per hand. So I cannot even imagine anymore how that was. It was a lot of time that I was using for this. So of course, the first thing of all, if I have to cancel all the interfaces, the only one I would, of course, have to stay is SiteMinder. We have SiteMinder as a channel manager to connect to the different OTAs, and the connection is really good. And I set it up 5 years ago, or then for the new property at the east side, like it was 2 years ago. You set it up once and then it's working flawlessly, and really no need to do anything. If you want to change, you can change things, but it's really just going quite well by itself. Actually, what's interesting that Muse is now adding, they're a little bit trying to undercut the channel managers, because they're having direct integrations now with, for example, Booking.com and Expedia, but they didn't have when we started with Muse. So we connected everything with SiteMinder, but when we started, they didn't have Expedia or Booking direct connections, but now they do have. So you can actually save the money for the channel manager if you only use Expedia and Booking.com. But as soon as you also use other OTAs, then of course you need the channel manager to sell as many rooms as possible on the different OTAs. So that's the first for prices and revenue. Then, since about 1 year, we have an RMS, so for making the prices, because even now that I didn't have to do the channels anymore, I still had a lot of work with doing the prices, because actually it's really hard to do by hand for all the days. You cannot be everywhere. Or maybe I was on a Saturday at home and there was like that a concert would be in Berlin or something, and then the prices went up, and then I had to react even on the weekend. But now I have this RMS. It's called Room Price Genie. I'm really happy about it. It's really nice for hotels of our size, because it's also very intuitive. It's not too complicated. You don't need like 3 months to set up all the rules. It's really easy, nice, and for me, it's also sexy, this tool, because it's just so nice and intuitive and so good to use. I would really recommend. And then I go on with the revenue. To get some extra revenue, I always recommend to have an upsell tool. We chose Upsell Guru, which is put into the pre-stay message. And then the clients, they can choose if they want, for example, extra breakfast or a parking space or some flowers on the room or whatsoever. Actually, you could also do the room type upsell. Like if they booked a comfort room, they could get a junior suite. But we are not doing this because we have so many different room types. We have 11 room types already, and then it would be a little bit too much. So it may work for anybody else. For us, it doesn't, but we do the upsell for the rooms.
And are the prices for the upsell items, like parking, for instance, that's just a static price that like you enter that price once, you're not.
Exactly. Yeah, in that case, as it's only products, it's a static price. So there's a fixed price for breakfast or for parking. What is nice that people who already have breakfast included in their rate, they do not get the breakfast offered, for example. So it's a little bit personalized. But what they do have, if we would do the room upsell, they could like bet on like how much they would like to pay for. Like some airlines also have this, that you can bet on how much you want to add for the upgrade. And then also for extra revenue, we have Voucher Card as a voucher tool, which is really nice. We started this also in Corona times because this way we were able to get some extra revenue without having people stay here, because you just sell the voucher. And as we all know, at least 1/3 or almost half of the vouchers never get redeemed because the people just forget about it. So yeah, we have the revenue without them staying here. And this is really nice. We have, for example, vouchers for our pool, because I didn't mention we have a really big pool in a big swimming pool hall, which was built in 1902. So it's a really nice event to be here swimming. And also we have a midnight swim. So you can go, just you and your favorite person, 2 people, from 10 p.m. till midnight, alone in the pool with nice lights and music. And yeah, it's really nice things. You can just like sell events on Voucher Card and even do some marketing like this for your venue.
Were all of these systems implemented after you implemented Muse?
Yeah, so it was, of course, we're talking about a time frame of 5 years. So of course you cannot like add 20 tools at the same time. So Muse was the first thing together with SiteMinder that was already there at the beginning. Oh, and Voucher Card was also quite fast, but then like, I don't know, I think you cannot really do more than 1 or 2 tools per year. I think you should maybe give also the team and the staff some time to adapt to the new tool. So I wouldn't do it more than 1 every 6 months, to be honest. So you would need some. So this tech stack was built over the last 5 years. And also we tried, now I'm getting to the guest relation tools. What's really nice that you can also, so Muse, as I said, is the base, but then the tools that you add on Muse, you can change, of course. So you're doing like contracts for 1 year or 2 years. And what I like so much is that you can just try if you like them or if they are well for you. And if not, you just cancel and try another one. So this is really plug and play, I would say. It's your tech stack, so you can try and as many as you like.
And in Muse, then, does the staff enter like comments about the guests? Like if someone in the restaurant learns about an allergy or a favorite type of wine or something, like they would make a note in the guest profile and that could be pulled into an email.
Yeah, exactly. And the guest profile, or maybe they said, oh, they absolutely don't like room 306. Please never again give room 306 or so on. And then in the next arrival, it's already displayed as an information of the guest. So the guest profiles are actually getting richer, I would say. So we get a lot of more information. Before it got lost somewhere in the system, and now it's really getting put all together. And so we got really good information about the guest. And then we also have Trust You as a customer reputation management system, because it helps us to get all the reviews together and then we can answer them directly in the tool. So it's really helping a lot to get, because we get a lot of reviews on all the different channels, TripAdvisor, Booking, Google, Expedia, wheresoever. And then it's so nice that you can have them all together. You can see your scores. You can see where you need to improve or what's going well. You can put also for the housekeeping team, you can say your aim is to have a 9.0 for this year for housekeeping as a review score. And so you can really work with those scores. And for the person who is replying to all the reviews, it's also easier to have it all together in one place. And also here, we are not, because the thing is, you have to pay actually, of course, for every tool that you're using. And the better you want them to have or to be, the more you pay. So there's also an option to have an AI on the reply of the reviews. And I think this is also great that you don't have to answer everything again every day by yourself, but you can also get AI help. which saves a lot of staff time. Yeah, that's about the review tool. And then what I would also count into guest relation management system is we have digital information in the rooms with better space. We have tablets in the rooms. So the in-room tablets with all the information about the hotel, the guests find the times of breakfast, of the pool, restaurants nearby or events going on. And they can even watch TV or newspapers in the tablet. That's a really nice add-on. And also the tablet is saying, hello, Mr. Da da da, when the check-in is done. And what we added recently, I think like 2 years ago, is the better energy with the tablet. So the tablet is actually talking to the heater via Wi-Fi. So it's connected and it's also connected to Muse. So we were able to save a lot of energy and a lot of money thanks to this, because so as it's connected to Muse, like the heater knows if it's going to be a check-in today or not, if the room is occupied or not. And depending on that, the temperature goes up or down. And then when the check-in is done at reception, there's like a boost of heat. While the person is walking to the room, it's going up. And the guest can also change the temperature on the tablet, of course, within parameters you put in there. But it's really nice that if a room maybe for some reason is not occupied for 3 days, then you're not heating there, because Muse is telling the tablet and the tablet is telling the heater about the status of the room.
Can guests also communicate with the staff through the tablet?
There's a button and they can like ask for an extra pillow or tell us something, and they can communicate with the reception by tablet, yes. And now coming to guest communication, some of my favorites at the end. One, of course, is the chatbot that we really love. I think we implemented, now 3 years ago. And we have Dialog Shift as the chatbot on our website, and it really helps so much. So you see, I'm having a cold because the winter started here in Berlin, and I really don't like the winter. And that's why I spent normally January or February, or maybe both, on Madeira Island. And so I was implementing, I remember this so well. I was implementing this tool in December. And then I went for my stay working abroad on Madeira Island. Thanks to all the tech tools is possible. Yeah, so I'm so happy and grateful for all our tech tools, because I can be in the summer, the sun, in the wintertime. And then I came back and I was like, is our telephone broken? There's something wrong with the telephone. We're not getting any more calls. I'm going crazy. What's the matter? We have to call the IT department. And then it turned out I cannot tell you numbers, because I actually asked the IT department if they could like track how many calls we had before per day. And now unfortunately they can't. But just from the feeling, it's unbelievable how much less telephone calls we're having. It's unbelievable. So the team really loves it. And the people do start the conversation with the chatbot. And normally, I think 98% of the conversations from the chatbot are done by itself, and only 2%, if the chatbot doesn't know something, they're like diverted to the team. And what we will try now, we need it because the new thing now is telephone AI, also from the chatbot, from Dialog Shift, but we couldn't do it so far because our telephones were not up to date. So first we had to change the whole telephone IT setup with the hardware and everything and make new contracts. And now we're ready for the next step to have telephone AI in the winter. But I'm already using also from the chatbot is the Dialog Shift email AI. So all the information that's in the chatbot, so it's getting more and more intelligent over the time, because with every question and every answer, of course, it learns more and more. And now I love so much the email AI. So if I have, for example, a complaint, or also even I'm doing it internally with my colleagues here in the language school. I think that they're not even aware that not me who's answering, but it's the AI. So it's really saving so much time, even for complaints. If you don't use the answer completely, you can still change something. But it's really, for me, it's a game changer to use AI in the email communication.
How do you continually evaluate your tech stack? Like, how do you make sure every tool is still working for you, working the way you intend it to work? And like, is there a point where you would replace a tool if it's not working? How do you keep that feedback loop going?
Actually, I have to say, I keep using the tools also myself. So basically, almost all the tools. I use them in my daily business, or if a staff member has a question, I'm doing too much in the tools myself. I know I have to delegate a little bit better. That's one of my not so good points. I need to delegate more. But as I'm still inside the tools, like as I set them up, if somebody has a question or wants to change something, I'm doing it. So I would say I'm kind of like the digitalization manager who's having still to do with the tools. And then if I see, of course, that something is not working anymore, or maybe I find out that we're not really using it anymore, it would be more not that it's not working, but that the question is, as they all cost money, I have to say this because some hoteliers heard about, oh, you're having so nice tools, I would also like them. And then they were like, oh, but I have to pay each and every one of them. I'm like, yeah, you have to. I'm always surprised every end of the month about all the invoices I get. But so you really have to, what you have to check, because they will keep on working, but what you have to check if you really use them and if there's still like a return on investment for you. I mean, it doesn't make sense if you pay 500 euros per month for one tool and then the outcome is not so great. It's maybe just 1 hour per month. Then you should maybe think about either changing it or getting rid of it. And then also the support, like if the colleagues tell me, oh, we wrote to them so many times, they don't respond. I think that's really important to have a good support, good return on investment, and they don't stop to function or malfunction. But maybe you hear what can happen that because where I hear about the tools and where I get to know the names is in the networking events that I'm taking place. So here we have, for example, we have a Muse regulars table where we meet with different Muse hotels, or then I'm at a ladies revenue table. As we not only have few ladies in tech, in hotel tech, we also have few ladies in revenue management positions. So we created a ladies revenue table in Berlin. So we meet and we also talk about tools. And also we have a boutique regulars table where I meet other GMs from other boutique hotels. And there, of course, we talk about the tools and we say, oh, did you hear about this? This is really great. Ah, no, I wouldn't take this. So it's really a lot about reputation or information inside the network evenings, I would say.
We talked all about your current tech stack, but I'm curious to know what's on your wish list. Is there like a new Muse integration that you're thinking of adding?
Yeah, actually, I'm always so happy when I have one more tool done. So flex skipping was the last one. I was like, tick, it's done. But of course, we have to get on going and get better every day. So the next steps actually would be to have a POS from Muse, because we do have a point of sale system for the F&B outlets. We do have one, but it's a little bit outdated. It also has an integration to Muse, which I set up 5 years ago. It's called Hypersoft, but we're thinking about changing to the POS of Muse directly, because the interface is a lot better. And also you can do digital ordering with QR codes from the table. So you can just be at the table and the client can order with a telephone and do the order. And they also can pay with the QR code that's on the table. So that would also save a lot of staff time. So that's actually the next thing we're thinking about. And then we have the project, because I told you that we have the language school. And so the Hotel Oderberger is basically digitalized and in a really good status. But now the management or the owners asked me to put all this tech stack also in the language school. So that would be my work for next year, to digitalize also the language school. They want to change the check-in for mobile check-in and self-check-in. So I'm actually talking now to some key companies. So they also have integrations with Muse. So we want to do the mobile key possible, and we want to have the self-check-in possible for the students. And yeah, basically that's it for the plans for next year. So we're never getting bored in here. So we're always aiming for new features and new things, but like the basic tech stack here in Oderberger, it will stay the same, because I'm very happy about it. And just the POS, and then on for the new projects. And we're also having a new building coming up in 2027. The owners will build a new building. There we will also implement the tech stack. So never getting bored.
Well, we still have a couple minutes left. I know you mentioned that you're very happy to be a woman in this space where there are not a lot of women. I'm curious if you have any advice or recommendations for a woman who wants to move up in the hotel tech space, what advice you would offer.
Well, the advice would be just do it. I mean, don't be afraid of doing it because like I was never into tech stack. I was neither into tech and I was one of the last ones at my school to have a computer. I remember a long time ago. And it's not hard. As I said, the tools nowadays, they're really easy to use. They're so intuitive and that you don't have to have like tech university degree in order to use them. I mean, if you can use WhatsApp on your phone, you can use any of those tech stack tools. And so I would say just go for it, just do it. Don't know why. Like today we had a meeting with the key providers and it was all men in the room. And I was the only woman. We had 2 meetings. It was the same situation twice. And I was like, why am I the only woman here? But I don't know, just do it and don't be afraid of it. And it's not, yeah, it's really hard to say. I don't know why. Men, they always, or a lot of times, they think, oh, I can do it. I'm so good, I can do it. And the women, they are more critical about themselves. They may be afraid, maybe I cannot do it so well, then I will rather not do it. So my advice is you can just do it, be brave. And we should be more women out there in the hotel tech world.
Well, thank you so much for walking me through the tech stack. It was great chatting with you. I really appreciate all of the advice and best practices that you shared.
Thank you so much.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to Hotel Tech Insider, produced by HotelTechReport.com. Our goal with this podcast is to show you how the best in the business are leveraging technology to grow their properties and outperform the comp set by using innovative digital tools and strategies. I encourage all of our listeners to go try at least one of these strategies or tools that you learned from today's episode. Successful digital transformation is all about consistent small experiments over a long period of time. So don't wait until tomorrow to try something new. Do you know a hotelier who would be great to feature on this show? Or do you think that your story would bring a lot of value to our audience? Reach out to me directly on LinkedIn by searching for Jordan Hollander. For more episodes like this, follow Hotel Tech Insider on all major streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music.